Well, it looks like Sony's back to their old ways with live service games, which in my humble opinion, might be damaging some of their most popular IPs. But let's break that all down. Up next. What's going on, guys? It's Kalo, and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and welcome to the Level Up. Well, we are back to talk more about a subject matter we all know and love, and that's PlayStation and their live service games. Of course, this subject matter has been at the center of the gaming world as of late, and we've seen over the past week, a God of War live service game was apparently axed. I'm also just realizing how I wrote that out. Pun totally intended. Now, I went on a whole rant in that video, and I won't go off that trail again, but there are a few points I want to reiterate and potentially expand upon in this video. First up, I'm not totally against live service games. I think there's a place for them in gaming, if done right. That's the key word, and we all know that's pretty hard to pull off. Now, in regards to PlayStation, sweet PlayStation. I do think my problem with them is this idea of them funneling a majority of their share of budget into this venture. I've always said this was a dangerous path to walk down, not only because we've seen this story pop up time and time again in the gaming world and fail, but it's PlayStation. I kinda think you're better than that. But it does look like there's a new chapter in all this because a Horizon Zero Dawn MMO has now been canceled. Quote, an MMORPG based on the Horizon series has reportedly been canceled. According to South Korean site NTN News, publisher NC Soft has canceled projects being worked on at 3 studios. Codename H, J, and Pantera. Now, according to the report, it seems like Project H has ceased development, with developers previously tied to the project leaving NC Soft. It's reported that developers who didn't leave following the cancellation have been moved to different projects across the company. Now, I did bring up in a prior video, taking a new perspective on all this could do us some good. This could be viewed as Sony realizing the error of their ways, and trying to correct course before things got way out of hand, which, in a perfect world, that'll be great. But I really think shoehorning their established single-player IPs into a live service model can dilute them to the point which we haven't seen before. Let's just say these games did come out. We got that God of War game, and we got this Horizon one. What if both games flopped or were just kinda meh? Do you really think when it comes time for the next big entries in these series to finally come around, people would have been lukewarm or even turned off them completely based on their prior experience, which would have been these live service games? Sony, over the past few months, to kind of put this in perspective, collectively canceled 10 of their live service games that we know of. This includes Concord, rest in peace, the God of War game, that Spider-Verse game, which out of all these, that's the one I would have wanted, this Horizon game, Sony Ben's multiplayer game, a Twisted Metal game, Payback, which is a Destiny spin-off coming from Bungie, and many more. And to say these were all concepts is false. They did sink time and money and resources into these projects, and I could be led to believe they didn't have a small bill. That's time and effort that could have been used on other viable games. Or let's just say they worked on 5 out of the 10 canceled games, and boom, you strike some kind of balance. We do live in this timeline where the PS5 is kind of at a standstill, and that's all until Ghost of Yotai, and after that, what do we have? And even before that, we really don't have anything to show for, at least at this current point in time. I'm not saying way at the start, I'm saying right now in 2025. I just think that time and resources could have been used more properly here, and that's all to maintain their priority, which was not right in the first place for long-term success. I mean, who thought it was a good idea for that God of War game? Like, that's the thing gamers really needed? Let alone putting Blue Point of all studios on that game? I want to be clear, nothing wrong with the studio at all, but that's like asking me to launch the next space shuttle into space. I only talk about games online. I quite literally do not do rocket science. In the case for Blue Point, like I said in a prior video, they could have been put on a remake or two that fans actually want. But no, live service is the hot commodity nowadays, and that's the one thing all gamers want. This also just kind of boils down to the choices that Herman Holtz and Jim Ryan made. And that's all to kind of steer the ship into the muddy waters we're currently in, and they just kind of jump ship from there. Again, it's not on the cancellation themselves because I do think that's them correcting course. I think it's all just the choice to greenlight these things in the first place. Knowing it's either gonna fail, people are gonna hate it, or it's just gonna fall flat. But with all that being said, I'm gonna pass this one off to you guys. What do you think about all this? But that about does it here. I've been KLO, I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and this has been the Level Up.